In the curious case of the death of Christa Bauer Gilley, nothing is as it seems. First, Lee Gilley, aged 38, husband and father of two, said his wife of 7 years, Christa Bauer Gilley, also aged 38, had killed herself by overdosing on drugs. Then, his story changed after medical professionals discovered signs of possible strangulation, and Lee stated that he and his wife had gotten into an argument over a recent purchase of a new car. So, which was it? Did Christa Bauer Gilley kill herself, or did she die at the hands of her husband? This will quickly become a story that will grip the nation. A beautiful couple that seemed to have it all started off like a rom-com or a fairy tale. Lee Gilley first met Christa in 2007. They went on one date, then walked away from each other for 8 years. Lee circled the block and returned to be with Christa and asked her to marry him 11 months after reconnecting. A post on Charleston Weddings magazine said, after going on one date and then going their separate ways, the two reconnected 8 years later in Boston for their second date. Talk about meant to be. Lee flew from San Diego to Houston 11 months later, where he surprised Christa with a proposal. Lee and Christa married at the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Charleston, South Carolina, January 2017. Their future looked bright. Their families and friends danced the night away. With laughter and drinks flowing, a twinkle in their eyes, as they celebrated the love of Lee and Christa. But, was it love, or was it a relationship and marriage, masquerading as something else? These cases are always so interesting because people can definitely put on a good show. As they say, looks can be oh so deceiving, and all that glitters isn't gold. But, there are always red flags. We just miss them in our quest to find happiness with our soulmate and to make the fairy tale come true. Houston police said someone called authorities about a suicide around 11:30 p.m. on October 7, 2024 at a home in the 800 block of Alston Street. Officers were told Gilley found his 38-year-old wife unresponsive inside the home. Paramedics took her to a hospital where she was eventually pronounced dead. However, upon closer examination, hospital staff said Christa had bruising and apparent trauma to her face, and an autopsy by the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences ruled her manner of death as a homicide. She died from compression of the neck or strangulation, and she was pregnant, police said in the news release. Police now believe that Lee, a software developer, strangled his pregnant wife at their $1 million home, then he tried to pass it off as a suicide. Lee Gilley, 38, has been charged with the murder of his professor wife Christa, 38, in Houston, Texas. On LinkedIn, Lee is listed as the founder of software consulting company, DocMo. Christa, a physical therapist, was 9 weeks pregnant with their third child when she was allegedly murdered, as reported by ABC 13. Christa graduated from Clemson University with a bachelor's degree in public health science, as well as the University of Pittsburgh with a doctorate in physical therapy, according to her LinkedIn page. She spent the past decade working for Memorial Hermann Health System and most recently, served as a rehab educator and senior physical therapist. Prosecutors say Lee called 911 on October 7 and claimed Christa had tried to kill herself by overdosing and that he was performing CPR. Lee told police he and Christa had been arguing about the purchase of a new car before he and Christa went to sleep in separate parts of the house, and when Lee went to check on Christa 3 hours later, he found her unresponsive. However, prosecutors say Christa's murder was staged by her husband to look like a suicide. Christa was taken to the hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Doctors quickly discovered injuries to her body that were not consistent with a suicide attempt, according to court documents. Christa's autopsy determined she died due to compression of the neck, as her injuries were consistent with strangulation. Prosecutors say Lee admitted Christa was not suicidal or a drug user. Lee was arrested and charged with the murders of his wife and unborn child on Friday. A judge denied his bond request on Monday. Christa's Facebook page shows so many beautiful photos of Lee, her and their young children. Once more, the photos on social media do not appear to tell the true story. Many people love their families and want to show them to the world, while others identify as a wife or husband over any other accomplishment. Yet, data shows that marriages aren't doing very well. Marriage has been on the decline since the 1970s. The state of marriage is not all right and, frankly, never has been. Apparently, Lee's social media revealed a darker side and reflected that he was leaning more towards wanting a marriage of the olden days. A source who knows Lee since childhood told DailyMail.com that over the last years he had become fixated with right-wing politics and the idea that women should stay at home to take care of their families, even though Christa was a successful physical therapist and professor. This obviously seems at odds with being married to a woman with a doctorate, 2 kids, and a full-time job, the source said. Lee's LinkedIn account shows that he repeatedly liked posts saying women should have a traditional role in the home instead of developing professional careers. Just days before his wife's death, he liked a post that read, "I no longer trust women in work environments." Men are easy for me to screen cause I'm one of them. Women? Not as easy. Especially given how in modern times, they put their happiness before anything else and it's not really obvious at first. They are downright dangerous to your business and your family. A week before his wife's death, he liked a post that included the phrases, "Women, forget your stupid career. We could care less about your career. Society lied. Reject modernity. Embrace tradition." Lee's LinkedIn account shows that he repeatedly liked posts saying women should have a traditional role in the home instead of developing professional careers. Before allegedly killing his wife, Lee also liked false information that FEMA was blocking law enforcement from helping people during Hurricane Helene. When this is over, people in the Biden administration and FEMA need to face criminal charges. This is disgusting. The LinkedIn post read. This case has all the signs of being a domestic violence relationship. Was Lee angry because his wife was becoming increasingly successful in her professional field? Did Lee feel like his control of Christa was slipping away? Lee Mungerson Gilley was in an orange jumpsuit as he signed paperwork in court. He's accused of killing his wife, Christa Bauer Gilley, at their home on Alston Street on October 7. ABC 13 learned new details about the case Thursday. Lee Gilley allegedly told investigators that on the night of Christa Gilley's death, the couple argued about the purchase of a new vehicle. Lee Gilley said they put the kids to bed and went to separate areas of their home. He added that Christa Gilley was in a bedroom for 3 hours and he heard nothing. When he went to check on her, he told police he found her with trauma to her face and blood spots on the bed. Christa's family said in a statement they are devastated by her death and the death of her unborn child. Christa was an amazing mother, full of love, and excited to welcome her third child. They were taken from this world needlessly and way too early, the family said. Christa's family appreciates the outpouring from the community and hopes for justice for their daughter and their unborn grandchild. They are here to support Christa's children and to focus on the memory of their daughter. According to those who knew her, Christa was passionate about helping her patients and colleagues. "I was shocked to learn of the sudden death of a former colleague," wrote one former colleague online. "Christa was a beautiful person who helped her patients and colleagues. My deepest condolences to her family, children and close friends. Rest in peace." A GoFundMe is being organized for Christa's family. As of Tuesday afternoon, community members have raised nearly $60,000 of the fundraiser's $100,000 goal. The fundraiser's organizers are calling her death an unbelievable tragedy for everyone in her community. "She brought life to nearly any social situation," loved ones wrote. "And joy to those who knew her from all stages of her life." The funds raised will help her family to cover legal, court and travel costs, organizers said. "Your help will also go towards childcare, food and housing expenses that will allow them to concentrate on Christa's babies, and not the financial stress of this heart-wrenching loss," the fundraiser reads. Following the hearing, Lee's attorney Ed McLeese told ABC 13 Mr. Gilley is devastated. "We're working very hard to try to get to the bottom of what actually happened. There's more that's unknown than what's known right now." The couple's 2 children, their 4-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son, are staying with Christa Gilley's parents. Both her parents and Lee Gilley's parents were in court on Thursday. Even if Lee Gilley makes the $1 million bond, the judge has ordered that Lee cannot have contact with his young children. Given the allegations that they were at home at the time that this offense occurred, and their extremely young age, we just thought it was best in this situation to hold off with him having any contact with these children during the pendency of this case, prosecutor Lindsey Bondurant said. A candlelight vigil was held in Christa's honor on Tuesday, October 15. Many gathered in person and virtually to grieve the loss of such a bright, young soul. Christa is loved and forever missed. The most dangerous time for a domestic violence victim is when she tries to leave. The number one cause of death for pregnant women is homicide at the hands of their intimate partners. Strangulation is one of the main indicators that your intimate partner will escalate his violence to end up killing you. These statistics are the American reality for relationships, marriage and femicide. In real life, there are no fairy tales. If you want to save lives, you'll stop promoting fairy tales and tell the truth. If you or someone you know has experienced abuse, call 911 or the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233, or go to thehotline.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. I will continue to follow this story and keep you all updated. Please like, share and subscribe for more true crime stories. Thanks for watching. And remember, love doesn't hurt.
Can you imagine being married to someone who says all your hard work and accomplishments don't matter? So many men, including husbands, expect women to give up their careers or take time off during the most crucial time in their careers to raise children. Why do men think all women care if our degrees and careers are important to them? Newsflash, many women don't. But men are increasingly resorting to violence, as they always do when they don't get their way. Christa and so many other women deserve to still be alive. All children deserve to grow up with their mother. This is an epidemic. We are in crisis. When are we, women, going to decenter men and sound the alarm? It's time for tougher domestic violence laws and the end of shaming women for not being married. At this point, marriage for many of us free-thinking, modern women is a death sentence.